Hello, once again here in Veinte, where we're going to give you something real quick, straight to the point. As you can hear the sound of my voice, I'm a little down the weather, but nevertheless, I'm here. I was going to talk about taxes, but this caught my attention last night. It has to be said and done, and we're going to get to it. We're going to talk about the Socorro Independent School District and all the parents from Socorro Independent School District need to pay attention to this. Really need to pay attention because a lot of things are going on that we're not happy about, but this is what's really going on. So stay tuned. I'm going to show you two videos, but one was from what caught my attention yesterday. I started doing some digging. I found out this because somebody said it to me, and it was just outstanding. So here we go, and I'm going to play it for you.
ISD Superintendent Dr. Nate Carmen is being called for an investigation from his former employer, a school district in Brownsville. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Draxler. Our sister station in Brownsville talked to San Benito CISD Board Vice President Janie Lopez. She says she supports a criminal investigation into Dr. Carmen after an audit performed by a Fort Worth-based firm looked into areas of concern from the school district's finances from 2016 through last year during Carmen's employment. SISD sent a statement to KTSM saying Dr. Carmen is aware of the audit and that forensic audits have become the norm when new leadership takes over.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Socorro Independent School District sent out notifying Channel 4 that it is the norm to do a forensic audit, and that is not true. They should do that yearly. I'm going to give you a little background. The city of Socorro government does it yearly. They do an audit so that they can find out where are their strong departments and where are they lacking their efficiencies. And that'll make the government itself know where they need to be working on. Where are those improvements and what is wrong and what needs to be changed and corrected. If you don't do that for long periods of time, then a lot of shadiness and a lot of corruption can creep up in those instances that if you don't do an audit, okay? And that's what's happening. So I'm going to show you. That's what happened. I was like, oh my goodness, what's going on? Good friend of mine sent me the other video because I asked, hey, well, what's going on? This is what happened. And this is what the other video I want to show you because it's very interesting. You know, it's very interesting that we're going, the dismantleization of the Socorro Independent School District. And they got Mr. Carmona to start doing this. Why? Don't know why, but it's very interesting because they got a yes man. And why did you get a yes man? Because he's running away. Is he running away from Browns Ville? From San Benito Independent School District? And that's why they're they're doing an investigation because he's no longer there. This video is taking a little time to load. We will get there. It will have a small, I think 5-6 minute clip of news, but this one is about 5 minutes long. It goes in depth. This is a video from the local news in Brownsville, where Nate Carmen, the superintendent for the city of Socorro, for the district of Socorro, comes from. So, one of the most interesting things about this that we're looking at here in Socorro is the firing of our chief of police. But this is something that the video is starting, so I want to just make sure that you guys get the full facts, because they went in depth and we need to show the parents what the board has got us into. So here we go.
For Valley at 10, I'm Chris Jacobs.
And I'm Sydney Hernandez. Tonight, we're starting with a CBS4 Investigate special report.
There is a possibility that laws were broken.
Yeah.
Yes, and so that would be something that law enforcement would need to further look into.
Is that what you hope to happen? That law enforcement do take a look at it?
I would support that.
San Benito CISC's former superintendent's history with this district may be entering a new chapter as a school board leader confirmed to our 4 Investigates team she's supporting a criminal investigation into what she described as a major misuse of funds.
Let's bring in CBS 4's lead investigator, Derek Garcia. We heard from her a second ago. This all stems from an audit into a multi-million-dollar bond project, Derek.
Yeah, Chris and Sydney, this audit report is a long time in the works and was just presented this week. It confirmed to the board's vice president suspicions of corruption, a pattern of unethical practices, and is supporting a criminal investigation into whoever made money and whoever let it happen. I call this meeting to order. In 2018, San Benito voters were told that the district had big dreams, and to make it a reality, it would cost a pretty penny. $40 million worth.
Have curriculum.
54% of voters approved the $5 million for the aquatic center, $4 million for the multi-purpose sports facility, and $30 million for the performing arts center. But 46% of voters weren't sold on the $40 million in spending. It would later prove to be for good reason.
Now I'm going to stop it there so that you guys can understand. That's not the corruption. The corruption is that they went out for bonds. And as you heard, that the vice president of Benito, the school district, had already the suspicions that Nate Carmen was doing something fishy. Couldn't put her suspicions until he stepped away. Why? Because Nate Carmen was her boss. And if the board didn't want to, she wouldn't bring it. Why? Because her employment hinders on Nate Carmen, the superintendent. He could have just terminated her. And I guess it's a survival of the fittest at that point. So she waited. She had these suspicions, but that's not the suspicions about the bond. It's what happened afterwards that is what really where the corruption is. And they will explain it to you so that you can understand. So it's not about the money that they took out. It's what happened. There are protocols in the school district as well as government agencies on how do you procure these companies to do work for. And they're going to go in depth so that people can understand what it takes to do work for a school district or any government agencies. And this is, it went in depth, and I'm very glad that they took that opportunity to show you so that you can see what went wrong and where the corruption lies. So let's continue.
In December 2021, unanimously how the superintendent, Nate Carmen, was used. In 20th audit findings presented to the school board in a 3.
Oh my goodness. Let's start it again because it's freezing on me.
On Tuesday,
Try to refresh it. Oh my goodness.
School board in a 3-hour presentation. Vice President Janie Penny.
There's a possibility that laws were broken.
The auditors with Weaver and Tidwell LLP found the big $40 million dream bond project in reality would cost more because the foundation of the bond proposal came from estimates and not by professionals.
In my opinion, the money was not being used wisely.
Take a look at this. In order to get a contract with the district, you need to pass an RFQ, which is a 2-step process. The audit found that San Benito CISD did not complete the second step as described under Texas government code. The auditors noted that this appears to be a violation of Texas government code. And according to the audit, the missing step happened with Hellas Construction for the $6.5 million to build the indoor multipurpose facility. Davila Construction. Davila will eventually be paid more than $30 million in district funds to build the Performing Arts Center and Aquatic Center. And the Brighton Group, who, quote, did not provide appropriate documentation of professional liability insurance coverage. And as of December of 2020, Brighton has received more than $1.25 million in project management fees, although work is not scheduled for completion until August 2023 at the earliest. The financial audit also noted that firms who got the contracts made donations to the superintendent's golf tournament in spring of 2019. Brighton Group donated $25,000 and Hellas $1,000. Photos of Carmen were published on the school district's Facebook page.
Does that just add salt to the wound?
Definitely. People were wounded. The community was wounded. And I think it's time for them to know that not all people in office are corrupt.
And this is just scratching the surface of what also instances of more projects going toward firms who donated to that golf tournament in March of 2019. Information from other firms being shared to companies who would later get contracts, and 30 instances of where the former superintendent Carmen was a guest at Marriott hotels for district travel that was paid for with a district credit card and earned points through his own personal Marriott Rewards accounts.
Well, Derek, before you sign off, now the former superintendent resigned back in March. He's now leading a district over in the El Paso area, but what's he saying?
Well, the new superintendent, Teresa Salvayon, did release a statement to CBS4. The transparency of this forensic audit is a blueprint for moving forward. I look forward to working with the school board and district administrators to examine each recommendation and implementation appropriate for change for the betterment of San Benito CISD. And there's a lot to comb through, but the CBS4 Investigates team is looking into it, and we did put in a call to the district that Superintendent Carmen is now with in the with the El Paso area. We did not get our call returned to before airtime, but we will continue to be pushing for answers and a follow-up on if law enforcement will be handling this investigation.
As you can see, the corruption lies where money was given to Carmen's golf tournament in lieu of contracts. And that is a federal offense. Bribery is no joke. One gave $25 million. One gave $25,000 and a bunch gave like $1,500, $1,000. But for every 1,000, it's a charge. And they're gonna look into it. They're gonna investigate. Why did Carmen abruptly just leave that district? It's because his vice president was already suspicious of all his shadiness, of all his corruption. Could not pinpoint it until he moves on, because she could not actively come out and say it because that's her boss and she could have been terminated, and therefore squashing this internal investigation. Now they did the audit. It took 10 months. Now they found out all of the wrongdoing. Now they're going to push it forward into looking into the possibility of a criminal investigation that they're going to push forward to either the Texas Rangers or their police department. We don't know who they're going to do it for. Well, they're going to do it. My God, excuse me for my throat. I'm a little down the weather. But one thing is for sure, the Socorro Independent School District Board hired a yes man. Therefore, he's coming here and destroying and breaking down the school system. He fired our chief. He fired the oh my God, the other director of transportation. Is changing teachers, principals in schools. You want to really think about how can a superintendent come in, and I want you to really think about what I'm trying to say here. How can somebody come in and make these changes without really knowing who is qualified and who is going to do a better job as principals in every school that he's been changing, unless he's being told to do that? Now, we know that some board members are being investigated. We don't know how many, but we know it's more than one. We know one for sure, but we know there's others. We just don't know how many. But it just comes to figure out that if you put 2 and 2 together, it does equal 4. And one thing is, they had the majority, 4 votes, to get it done. What's happening here is a clear violation of the trust that we as voters gave to the trustees, and this is how they repay us, by dismantling the system that was good in place. Don't forget, we were an A district school, and now we have something like 58 schools that are downgraded to B rating. Why? Nate comes out, does a lot of commercials saying, "Oh, we've done STEM for this school. We put STEM for HD Healy and stuff like that." But it wasn't you. That was already programmed. That was already programmed. You didn't do that. You didn't have time to implement that. Your predecessor, who quit on us, had already done that. You're just taking the glory. It's just like Socorro, the city. You know, we built a lot of stuff and other people take the credit. It's normal, you know, it's done in your time, but I get it. But one of the things is that if this investigation goes through and it's a criminal investigation, then the board should take action and sit him on the sidelines until this investigation is through. Because whatever he does is going to be tainted. Whatever he does. And everything he's done up to this point should be scrutinized. Should be scrutinized with a fine-tuned comb. Because I believe that he just told his board, hire me and I will do your bidding. Because he knew he was going to get caught in Browns Ville from his last employer. Now, I don't wish no bad ills on anybody. I just hope that it's not true, but the proof is in the pudding. As you saw, Brownsville News made a good report, gave you a lot of documentation showing that there was some shadiness. There was money that was involved, that took place. There was a transaction, and therefore they got contracts. So it doesn't look good. But everything he's done here has to be looked at and has to be undone. It just looks like we got a yes man. Hire me, get me out of here, and I'll do whatever you guys want me to do. And I think that that's what's happening. And I believe that the residents of the Socorro Independent School District, us parents, should really take this to heart and say, we need to go there and we need to voice our voices and let them know that we shouldn't stand for this. And the next elections, we are going to make changes. Just like Carmen is making changes, we as parents have the power to make changes. Hear me, please. We pay a ton, loads of money to the Socorro Independent School District. Your taxes, your brunt of your taxes. I will say it again. I'm going to even prove to you on next week when I do my taxes, the podcast for taxes. I'm going to prove to you that the majority of the money you pay for your house goes to the school district of Socorro. Okay? It doesn't go to the city. It doesn't go to the county. It doesn't go to UMC. It doesn't go anywhere else. The majority of it goes to the school. We need better representation than this. I don't know how to say it to you guys, but we need better representation. Like I said, it's up to us. It's up to us. And like always, I will try to tell you the truth. The truth hurts, but it's the truth. No two ways about it. So once again, God bless you and stay tuned.